Well, they say a change is as good as a rest, and we have got a big change coming here tonight for all of you. Welcome along to the Broadcasting Lounge, and welcome to the first ever round of the brand new SuperCars NZ MRP HPR Series. Very, very exciting. I'm Shane White, and I'm joined in the lounge by Doug Bickley in car and Corey Kitchen sitting alongside me. How's it going, guys?
Evening, boys.
Yeah, thanks, Shano. Yeah, HPR Series. Sounds very fast.
High performance racing.
That's it, high performance racing, and just looking for some guys that are actually on track in the qualifying session at the moment. Oh, Broadcasting Lounge running wide.
Just finished my my sixth lap of qualifying there, so I was yeah.
Maybe you could give us an in-car of what to expect at Suzuka, Doug.
Oh mate, yeah. Well, it's a hard enough track, and I haven't got the best memories of here. Ended up destroying a team's hopes of a win when we were sitting in P2 by losing it at 130R in the Ferrari during the 10-hour Suzuka. But yeah, it's a cool track. It's a track with a flyover crossover on the track. So just coming underneath that tunnel there now. So that's actually where the track crosses back over itself. But yeah, Suzuka over here in Japan, and we've got the GTP cars joining the field tonight up against 6 of the GT3 class. The reason why that's dropped from 8 to 6 is because iRacing's decided to add a weather element to iRacing now. That's rain, and we may experience some of that throughout tonight's race. So not only are we challenging everyone to running in some cars that are going to be lapping the field faster than anything we've seen go around the tracks before, they're going to then be navigating through GT3 traffic. And then also throwing in that weather element of trying to survive in the rain.
Yeah, more on that later. We're taking over to the race now, so we better roll on with it. Here's a quick look what we've got in store tonight. SuperCars NZ MRP HPR Series at Suzuka International Racecourse. Bit of an overview of the track there. We're at 27 metres above sea level on a 5.7 kilometre circuit, so should be very exciting as the guys are just starting to line up on the grid now, or line up behind the safety car ready to come around to the grid, and we can bring up our all new overlay there which splits it nicely into classes so you can see who's where. And we talked a little bit about rain there, and Corey, there might be some rain on the horizon.
Yeah. So the weather forecast is sort of currently mostly cloudy, and it's going to move into overcast. Yeah, so we're looking sort of around 11:30 or 11 o'clock, 11:30. The percentage of rain has gone up quite substantially, from 0% to 97%. So it's going to be sort of wet, sort of looking around the feature race.
Very exciting. So they're going to be rolling off in just under a minute behind the safety car. Just before they roll off, hopefully I can bring up the grid for you. Let's just see if we can find that information.
What is that safety car, Doug?
It is just a safety car. So I used to run the trucks a lot. Now I've got decided with these GTP cars being a lot lower to the ground, they might need to be able to see around it a wee bit better where the corners are and pit lane entry and stuff like that. So I just opted for the standard iRacing car. But I believe it's a I was going to say I believed it was a Pontiac of some description.
Yeah,
Well,
a little bit ugly, anyway.
It does look a little bit different to the old standard safety car. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find the button to bring up the grid order, but you can see on the time tower there anyway the order they're currently rolling off. We've got to change it around, but Jacob Lucas leading the GTP field away with Taylor Mitchell alongside him. and Connor Nixon and Hamish Cleland just behind them. Stephen McCartan on pole from Sean McNamara in GT3 as the safety car is peeling off and we are getting ready to go. Oh, bit of a jump start from Taylor there. Jacob holding the field very late, and they get the green flag now and they are away. Looks like Taylor is going to chopping and changing between Taylor and Lucas. Taylor on the outside, going to try and sweep around the outside through turn 1. Jacob able to hold it there though. Can he get the nose in front as they come down turn 2 and 3? He does settle into position there. GT3's in behind. Matthew Gerard currently leading them away. Eamon Lamont just behind. Both front row sitters from the GT3 class have dropped back. So
yeah, so we've got Sean McNamara with heavy damage to the front and rear. I haven't seen Stefan yet. But yeah, both cars have dropped down quite a wee bit. Well, Stefan's still up there, but yeah, so Sean's dropped down 11 spots.
Potentially contact between the two of them. We will track that down later on once things have settled down and see what we can find out for you guys.
It's also worthwhile letting the folks at home know we've had a bit of a tightening up on racing incidences as well. Total of 15 points will earn a driver a tour of pit lane. You get 2 of those. Up to 30, and then 3 points after that. It's a see you later from the race altogether.
Well, so potential disqualification on the cars for the guys tonight. That's going to make things very interesting.
They'd be having a rough night to get disqualified, I feel. I think 15's pretty fair. Like, you know, and if you get a little bit over that and get a drive through, that's well, you know, you've earned your drive through. And a lot of people, when they get close to that drive-through, they will tame up their driving as well. Already a big gap between the two classes, so there's going to be a few laps before we're going to get the a bit of lap traffic for those GTP cars.
Yeah, that's the big challenge with the multi-class, is it doesn't take too long for the GTP guys to get around to the GT3 guys in behind. And it becomes a big challenge for both classes. Obviously, it is the faster class's responsibility to get around, but the GT3 cars still need to show some awareness of when they've got that faster class car making a move and make sure they do give them some room.
Yeah, some people love their multi-class racing. I definitely, Team Enduros and stuff like that is the only multi-class racing I've ever done. But yeah, I think it's a good idea bringing it to the Thursday night, something new and fresh.
It certainly is. It's one we'd talked about a few, maybe a season or so ago, but I suppose we might not have quite had the numbers to warrant doing it. There wasn't quite enough push from the other drivers to look into it as much, but as all good leagues go, we had a few people being invited and taking part in some of those more challenging special events iRacing puts on, and with those being... Sorry, so just let Steve Darren go by. With those being some multi-class races as well, a few people have gotten used to driving in different class than what we often put on the table, so I thought it was a good time to bring it on was now that iRacing have got a pretty good handle on how these cars are and how they behave and how they set up, and rain element just makes it all that more exciting. So new changes all around.
Yeah, absolutely. And Connor Nixon certainly up to speed in this car, although I think he wanted to race the GT3, but you told him quite firmly, I think, Doug, that your expectation was that he should be jumping into the GTP as he was a front runner in the GT3s, or as a regular front runner in the GT3s.
Yeah. So that was pretty much a stipulation. Obviously, we were worried about everyone wanting to play with the hot, fresh new toy and everyone moving across to the GTP cars, and I sort of indicated, well, we're going to be running it as 2 championships, so why don't we drag the guys who are regular top 10 and 10 in the championship, top 15 finishers, can jump up to the GTPs, they can battle out for a new championship, and the guys who have awesome battles just outside the top 10 and top 15 can line themselves up with a potential championship win with SuperCars. So it's a win-win in my eye for both parties.
Yeah. On that criteria, I would have thought this guy right here probably should have been in the GTP. Blake Greenhill, he's won a few GT3 races, certainly regularly towards the pointy end of the field, but I guess he was adamant that he's not ready to try and tame that particular beast, and he's sticking it out in his trusty old BMW GT3 car.
But maybe his, if he'd moved up to the GTP class, that BMW might be a little bit too fast for him. I think that could be what it is.
Could be. So just noticed Mark Price as well making his way around Blake, so he's down the order in a GTP car, so I'm not sure what issues he may have ran into early on. Speaking of issues early on, we need to try and track down what went on with Sean McNamara sitting in the car. Potentially we could see some of it in this clip. So Sean McNamara at the start.
Sorry, Sean.
Alongside Stephen McCartan. Is there a touch here? Oh, now that's interesting.
Of course, no live race control for the HPR series, but I'm sure if Sean's unhappy with that, he can send in a ticket, Discord at the end.
Yeah, absolutely, and potentially a lot to unpack on that one. Obviously, contact on the outside, turning Sean hard left, but you have to look at all the angles to determine, did Sean leave enough room? Did he need to leave room? Was Stefan entitled to keep his nose there? A lot of things to unpack in that. So yeah, obviously if Sean or Stefan feels like raising a ticket, we will let them do that, and the appropriate powers will have a look at that.
Yeah, them. They will look at themselves.
Yeah. And that's a good one to mention there, Corey. And
Yeah.
why would that be?
Well, Stefan being race control for the V8s, and Sean being the hierarchy that he is.
Well,
Yes.
I was trying not to spoil the illusion there, but thanks, guys.
I'm sure they can have a cup of tea and a biscuit and work that one out.
Stefan continuing to race hard at the front of the GT3 field, so fortunate for him that he didn't come off as badly as Sean McNamara did in that contact. Sean's had another moment later on as well, so we can bring that up. Sorry to pick on you, Sean, but well, I think your lack of a wing might not be helping you too much there, buddy. You might want to get in and grab a fast repair, I think.
Yeah, looks like he's been through pit lane, so he's back out on track now and looks to be tracking normal.
Well, as normal as Sean
Yes, mate.
McNamara ever gets, right?
Yeah. You've got to give him his all that crap back when you can. So looking at the times, Taylor Mitchell, he's doing 1:43s, so Connor Nixon and Leith being a little bit slower than him currently. But looking through the pack there's a few guys still pretty close together.
Yeah, pretty close battles.
Yeah, there's action going everywhere at Suzuka on that track map.
Jacob Lucas appears to be limping around the track. He was P1 in the GTPs. Have we got any data on that?
Jacob Lucas. Let's see what I can track down.
Yeah, well, he's down seven spots. Yeah, it's currently doing 120 kilometers an hour, so just might have sporting some
so
damage, maybe.
His front left wheel is not rotating a huge amount here, so there's got to be more to the story than that. This is certainly post incident. Unfortunately not seen any crash data come up for Jacob though.
Matthew Gerard there up the.
He's gone.
Just as I said it, he was holding off Stefan, but Stefan's got his way round, or he's going to be on the outside for this left-hander, so gives it back. Because haven't Matthew Gerard, he's improved a lot, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's fast. He'd be out there having some good battles with those guys, and certainly putting a good challenge on Stefan and Blake if they were near each other.
Yeah, well, we currently got Stefan McCarter and Matthew Gerard and Aidan Lamont in a fairly close battle there for the top 3 spots in GT3. It's pretty awesome to watch. Bit of trouble for Balake.
Balake, I've got data on him going off the track.
Oh, massive accident. Connor Nixon. Huge crash.
Oh, so Blake just doing a little bit what you did there at 130R, Doug, just getting a bit wide and dropping the rear. Potentially Nico Cordier involved with Connor Nixon?
Yeah, there was 3-4 cars involved in that.
Also GTP cars coming through the lap traffic, and again a lot to unpack. That all happened very quickly, and we will let race control make a call on that if anybody raises a ticket. Very unfortunate for all guys involved there though, and that is the perils of multi-class racing. Like we said, it's the responsibility of the faster class guys to make their way around cleanly, but the GT3 guys do need to hold a consistent line and be predictable and leave room when the GTP guys do make that move. So certainly a lot going on with that.
Now, Shannon, you and I, we'd commentated together for a wee while on the V8s, and while I'm out here circulating some laps, I can hear your voice and teeth clench every once in a while. So, is that because things are starting to get a wee bit spicy between those GTP cars trying to come through the field of the GT3s? Is that right?
Yeah, we've certainly had a little bit of that. If we jump to Taylor Mitchell in the lead, he is making his way through that GT3 field as we speak, so you can see on screen here just how tricky it is, as he's got a big group of GT3 cars that he's about to come up on. I think he's just making his way around Aidan Lamont now, and the next car is going to be the GT3 leader, Stephen McCartan. So he's actually just about cleared that whole field. And he'll be able to get his head down, and he's already got an 8-second lead there at the moment, and he will be able to continue growing that. But if we jump back to Leith Swinney, 8 seconds back in second position, he's now just making his way around Blake Greenhill, and certainly a lot of work for Leith to do as well.
There might have been some flashy lights going on in the background there from Hamish Cleland, who's next in the pecking order there.
Yeah, that's right, and bit of a controversial topic, flashing lights here at SuperCars NZ, but I think in multi-class sometimes it can be quite useful to just make those guys ahead aware that you are there and you're going to be closing in pretty quickly, because if you're not necessarily paying too much attention to your mirrors, the closing rate can be quite quick, and you can think you've got a whole lot of space behind you, and then all of a sudden you've got that GTP car right on you again.
Yeah, and they come up on you so quickly as well. So I mean, your series is going to some pretty big, well-known tracks, a lot of GTP tracks and GT class racing tracks. So some are going to be easier than others. I think this is quite a tight track for multi-class racing, personally. But yeah, you got to deal with it, and the more you're racing in the series, I guess the more you're going to get used to it too.
Yeah, that's right, and we didn't set the calendar as such. We made a call to follow the official IMSA series, as pretty much tradition for our big series here at SuperCars NZ, as we follow an official series. V8s have always followed the official V8 series, and generally our GT3 series has followed the GT3 officials, with the exception of a couple of summer series where we didn't. Obviously, with the introduction of the GTP cars for this HPR series, we had to make a little bit of a change to that, because the GT3 official races don't have multi-class racing. So to make it fair, we've gone to the IMSA calendar, which obviously this is essentially the IMSA series just without LMP2s in the mix as well. So one less
and
it's
it's a pretty good looking lineup of tracks. So we're at Suzuka obviously this week, then Sebring, Portimao. I've never heard of that track.
Portimao,
And
brand new to iRacing, hosted the 2020 Portuguese Formula 1 Grand Prix, as there's an incident in front of
oh,
Michael van der Haas. I think that was Blake Greenhall involved, wasn't it, with someone else?
Matthew Gerard, I've got off here now. He's just in the sand, missing a few body parts.
Matthew Gerard went off track. Saw the BMW and saw the blue on the BMW, but it wasn't the property edge blue, so apologies, Blake. Just a bit of contact with that Ferrari, which I think was number 86, which would be
Aidan Lamont.
Aidan Lamont.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky there. It turned across the nose and off he goes. So yeah, back to our Portimao, and then we're off to Italy to Imola, Road Atlanta, Long Beach. Now multi-class racing at Long Beach is going to be pretty exciting, I think. Mugello, Spa, Laguna Seca, Indianapolis, Misano, another one I've never heard of, but just looking at that track map, it looks horrible.
Misano also brand new to iRacing, not one I'm as familiar with as Portimao. Portimao is a track I actually absolutely love. I came across it first on Race Room Racing Experience and absolutely loved it on there, and was quite thrilled when Formula 1 made a visit there during the COVID years.
Nice. And what a way to finish off a series at Detroit. That will be exciting.
Yeah, worth noting, heat racing, so the same format as we've got tonight for the two street circuits. So those guys that have a bit of a messy race in race 1, which I'm sure there will be a few, they'll have a chance to redeem themselves in race 2 as well. So
yeah, and so it'll be endurance round next week at Sebring.
that's right, following on from the 12 hour this weekend for those guys that are doing that on the iRacing special events calendar.
So we're going to do a 12-hour race next Thursday?
No. I need to get some sleep. I can't stream all night.
Go sick Fridays, woohoo!
No, so I think the endurance format we're running, correct me if I'm wrong, Doug, I believe is an hour 15?
Correct, yeah, hour 15. It's got 2 pit stops in it through the race. A minimum of 2 pit stops. Also, a minimum of 2 tyres to be taken during that each of those pit stops as well. So,
Contact between Steve Darren and Connor Nixon.
Oh.
So Connor was involved in that tangle with the GT3 cars earlier, making his way back up through the field. And looks like he's towed back to pit lane as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he might have had a bit of damage there. He went to try and take off, and it just hard left-hand turn into the barrier.
So didn't quite catch the second part of that. We obviously caught this bit live, but we can go back and have another look. Connor trying to make his way around Steve Darren there, firing it down the inside hard. Not a lot of space given by the look of it for me, but he was pretty late on making the move, and yeah, you're right, just fired hard left. And if we click on this one, that should make sure we follow Connor Nixon through that second part, so you can see climbing over the curve, getting back onto the track, and yeah, just fires hard left into that tyre wall. So obviously some damage there from the initial contact for Connor, and his return to SuperCars ZZ is not going terribly well for him at the moment. Jumping back to the GT3 class, we've still got Stephen McCartan has made his way to the front of that and opened quite a significant gap over Colin Hodgkinson there. So
yeah,
I can recall, Connor Nixon disconnecting as well from the race tonight. So maybe a bit more behind the issue that he had with his car. Yeah,
either that or just decided that after a couple of crashes he wasn't really too keen on carrying on and just decided to pull the pin, but hopefully we might be able to get some more information on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to stick around till the end to gain some points, and also with tonight, he said was first time he was going to be running the GTP car in the rain, so it might have been worthwhile for him to stuck around and at least seen how that played out. It might not have been in his favour. But the other thing is which I don't know whether it would still show up the same way, is there a possibility if he gained enough points, could have he just had a disqualification?
Oh, potentially, because he did disappear pretty quickly, didn't he? I might have just put the old commentator's curse on Jared. When I clicked on his name, I was about to talk up how he was just half a second behind Roger Forbert, and then he went and dragged it through the dirt.
Oh no.
Thomas
Look at Kelly.
McCall putting some pressure on Kristen Jenkins though.
Yeah, good to see Kristen back in the
Yeah.
seat.
Yeah, had a bit of time off with a bit of an injury last season, so good to see him back out there, having recovered from that, and battling hard at the tail end of the top 10 in GT3 class with Thomas McCall putting some pressure, and Kristen's gone wide, Thomas able to make his way down the inside.
We've got a bit of information on some incident points here for you boys. So we've got 3 cars sitting on 13. So one of them is car number 28. The other one is car number 28. Then the other one is car 11. So those 3 cars are on 13, so nearing it. We've got one that should have already served it because he hasn't got a black flag beside his name now, so he's got 16 points. He was leading the GT3 at one point. He's fighting his way back through the field now, Nico Cordia. So he's the first one to have fallen on his sword and had to take a tour down pit lane.
I'm coming up behind a car called Mr. Plough.
Yeah, and you've got 7 incident points, Doug. So you're halfway there.
Yeah, I'm doing alright.
Nearing the end of the race though, this I believe will be the final lap. Unfortunately, where I thought I'd found a solution to get the final lap to show up on the screen doesn't look like that's going to be the case, unfortunately.
Yeah, I haven't got a white flag up yet. White flag up now, currently. Right now.
So we're a minute to go when Taylor crossed the line this time around, so he should be on the final lap now with the lap time being 1 minute and 3/4. So we'll follow him around. Caught up in plenty of traffic at the moment.
Blake Greenhall will have to be looking out. He's on 14 now, so one little bump on this lap is going to bump him down the order.
And that will end up being a time penalty because obviously he won't be able to get into pit lane. Well, he'll be able to get into pit lane, but he won't be able to clear that black flag by exiting pit lane. He'll cross the start finish line in the lane if he tries to do that. So that would then. Oh! Taylor's come across a spun out GT3 car and had to go through the dirt to get around him. Luckily for Taylor, he's got a big enough lead that he can get away with that and continue driving, but that would have been a nervous moment for the young kid.
Yeah, that looks to be Ryan Cotterill, so he's just hit 15 incident points, so he'll be getting a bit of a pre-race penalty there.
Yeah, Taylor Mitchell though survives that moment, comes around to take the checkered flag, takes out the first race in the GTP class for the HPR Series.
Awesome.
Stephen McCartan, meanwhile, leading GT3 on the final lap. We've got Hamish Cleveland and Leith Swinney rounding out the podium in GTP. Michael Vanderhaas out there at the moment, just coming around.
So now we're going to move into a feature race. Well, there'll be a 5-minute warm-up. So we're going to have a feature race, which is going to be...
Total of 33 minutes.
Yeah,
so
I'm getting there,
minutes.
Yeah, so 33 minutes, yeah, so with a top 10 inverted. So whoever finished 10th in this race is going to be starting off pole for the next one, which is a GT3 car. Will they start off pole? 2 of the front row is going to be GT3s.
Well, that's what I was trying to work out, whether it's going to reverse both classes' top 10s, or whether it was do it as an overall finishing. So
yeah, well, this is life's questions.
These will be the questions that will be answered in a very short few minutes.
Stefan coming to the line now and takes out the GT3 class in the first round of the HPR Series, and Cullen Hodgkinson about 10 seconds behind, or just under 10 seconds. So Very similar winning margins across both classes actually. 9 seconds in GTP and 9 seconds in GT3. Aiden Lamont rounds out the GT3 podium there. Blake Greenhill bringing it home in 4th in GT3. Roger Forbert just behind in 5th. And Jared Eccleston is coming across the line. He's going to be the last car across the line, 6th in GT3. As we do tick over into that warm-up. So, weekly sponsor this week, Jigsaw Projects. What can you tell us about Jigsaw Projects, Corey?
Yeah, well, Jigsaw Projects do interior fit outs of commercial properties. History of doing things like refit outs in universities and schools and stuff like that. Like, yeah, redoing the interiors and like receptions and classrooms, foyers and meeting rooms and things like that.
Yeah,
They're based in Auckland, and you can get in touch with Steve Darren, and he will point you in the right direction. He's got a lot of good people supporting him and backing him up.
yeah, absolutely great stuff, and yeah, good to see a bit of a rebranding for Steve's company and continuing to support the league. So very cool, and supporting a number of guys out there in the Jigsaw team as well, formerly known as Team SDI.
Yeah, Team Jigsaw Racing. Bit of a big last few weeks rebranding everything for him.
Yeah, you've been very, very busy doing all the paints for that team, so and some good work you've done there too.
Thanks, man. It's just a little bit of a side fun, and it's been a good distraction for me lately.
All right, well we've got a bit of time, and there's been some chat in Discord about podium interviews, and hey, one of the guys that has picked up a class win there happens to be down in the Discord channel, so we can probably bring him up and have a bit of a chat.
Yeah.
Stephen McCartan, well done picking up the first ever GT3 race win in the HPR Series. How was that?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Bit different, but yeah, it was enjoyable.
We saw a little bit of contact between some of the GTP cars coming through some of the GT3 class guys. Did you have any trouble with those faster class cars coming through on you?
Not really. There was a little almost scare going through sector 1. I think it was turn 4. I think it was Steve and Connor were having a battle, and I was just trying to stay out of the way pretty much. But otherwise, nah, no issues, no worries. They drove well.
Yeah, fair enough. We did catch a bit of contact as well at the start of the race between yourself and Sean McNamara. What did you make of that?
Netcode.
Oh, netcode. Okay, fair
Yeah, I
enough.
went back and had a look, and there's a bit of a netcode. Sean was sort of drifting middle line, and then the netcode hit, and then he spins in the front of me. I only got a 1x for it, so.
He's
Yeah.
full of it. No,
Sorry, Stepan, I couldn't resist.
I know.
No, we already had words. I just said, yeah, it's definitely his fault. And then since I took him out in one of the V8 races, it's like, we're even now, eh? Nah, it is what it is. I had the wrong setup, and my brake bias was all the way back, and that's why I kept spinning out in those first few laps. So,
Well, probably didn't help that you were lacking a wing after the contact with Stefan as well.
Did he take it with him?
Or a grill.
Yeah,
The
man, I was
bumper was
greedy.
gone.
I was greedy.
No, that's 2 races this week, Sean. You have wrecked my paint jobs. First lap.
I stayed in for this race, so that's the difference.
You did. I'm proud of you because I thought you were going to quit. You went to the pit lane, and I'm glad you stayed back. That's
doesn't hit my
good
feelings as
character.
much. Yeah,
And it's good to see Steve still in there too, because he had a rough Tuesday too, so he was hoping to have a good race tonight as well.
Did he have a good race? Or what? I couldn't see him.
Well, he's still there, so he's having fun. So that's the main thing.
Is what we're all about, mate. Having a bit of fun.
Yeah. If you're not having fun, you're.
The boys are all the boys apologising to each other down there, like, sorry if that was my fault, and then obviously I come across and just blame Stefan for all the content. Gotta keep it real. No, it's good, man. It's good to see the guys just owning their little mistakes, because we all do that. We don't take people out intentionally, as Sweeney and myself and Steve were talking about. It's like no one actually does it intentionally. So,
what can you tell us, Sean, about the Jigsaw Projects Limited?
Well, I tell you what, it's exciting. New developments for Steve. It's a brand new adventure for him. There'll be less trips to Fiji, I can tell you that much. And he'll be knuckling down and actually putting some hard work in. So just stepping away from what he was doing and going down a different channel. He's a bit more 4x2 rather than a bit of jib. I don't know. I don't know how building works. Don't ask me. Steve's just having a change, and it's quite cool. He's getting SDIs out the door, and what we're doing with old Jigsaw is really cool. I really like the paints that you've been doing, mate. I haven't moaned about one of them at all.
What a lie.
I can confirm
We're
there are
gritty, and it's raining.
there are spits of rain.
Oh,
We'll let you boys get down there and get their wipers on.
Just so you know, I've never driven in the rain, and I don't know if I have a wiper button. So thanks a lot, guys. Cheers. Catch you soon.
Control W or Shift W, I think, turns them on.
Yep. Wet tyres, boys, might be a good option. Wet tyres may be a good option.
alright, so the guys have some choice to make. Rain just starting to fall. It won't have settled on the track as yet, but it won't take a long time for that track to get wet enough to need wet tyres. So the question is there enough of a gain to be had by starting on slick tyres, and then can you offset the required pit stop onto wets from that? That's the call the guys are going to have to make, isn't it?
Questions have been answered with a couple of GT3 cars there sitting at the front.
Stefan McCartain at the front of the GTP field here.
In a GT3.
Okay, so they're going to let the GTP cars go past. I'm hearing in the chatter, which is
Control
good of them.
W.
Well, everyone's moving off.
So there's no spray or anything coming up behind the cars here to see. No. So yeah, we are now seeing drops of rain. So I can tell you that it's currently 10:46 in sim, and 100% chance of rain because it's raining.
Right.
So it's looking that it's going to sort of die off in about an hour.
Oh,
So
we've
well
got Doug
and truly
round.
after the race finished.
Yeah, so the race will be
Likewise.
finished. So it's going to rain for the entirety of the race. So if anybody's out there on slick tyres, this lap's going to be greasy. We're going to see some cars coming in and changing. We're going to see some cars going in the pits probably now. So I certainly would be. It'll be a huge advantage.
Well, some guys might have already chucked wet tyres on for the start.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that would be very smart. So we're going to see what's going to happen here, turn one.
Although in saying that, those tyres on Pricey's cars look pretty slick to me, but it is hard to tell with the wheel covers. You're trying to look under the bodywork of the car to see any tread pattern on the tyres, and we've got a car off in behind. That was Taylor Mitchell, and he's going to go around.
We're hoping to keep it off that wall. He does well. So just waiting to get a rejoin. That's good work, not just jumping out on track.
Absolutely well done there, Taylor, taking your time. It can be tempting to just jump straight back out there. You want to get back going. Got a bit of spray coming off Mark's car? I think it is, isn't it?
there
Yeah,
is
it's definitely not a
definitely
lock-up.
spray
Oh.
coming off cars.
Yeah, I think those guys that are on slick tyres are really starting to struggle now, so I think wets was the right call, and unfortunately we don't have confirmed data on who was on what, but we may...
Oh, that would be good to know, wouldn't it?
It would. Hopefully iRacing and SDK together can come to the party to be able to give us that data, but obviously this is all very, very new, so we need to give them some time to work on all that. And I think
more cars
Pricey
around.
and probably Steve on slick tyres, because they were really appearing to struggle there.
I have found it in SDK tyre compound, but it's currently not showing any data, so obviously iRacing not sending that sort of stuff to third parties yet.
That's right, so we've picked up the broadcasting lounge. Douglas Bickley. What tyres are you on, Doug?
I've gone out on wets, can confirm wet tyres.
And that looks like it was the right call, doesn't it, as you've moved up to P3 with all those guys falling off the track.
It's yeah, I had a very iffy moment right at the very start. I spun the car halfway round before we got through the last corner beside pit lane entry, so I managed to gas it up and get back in front of the other two cars that had gone by me just as a green flag dropped. So guessing they didn't get any penalties for me falling off like that. But I can confirm, crack slippy.
Yep, so I've got Michael Vanderhaas now just gone backwards into the fence. Blake Greenhall and Taylor Mitchell getting a little bit grindy.
So Michael Vanderhaas here into turn 1. Oh, he's caught the curb, and it actually took quite a while to go on him. I would have thought it would go much quicker after catching that curb, but almost managed to hold on to it by the look of it. But
Yeah, lucky he didn't hit that wall any harder.
Yeah, that's right.
I had to store Jacob Lucas rejoin in front of me before the tunnel. He was up the front of the pack after having dramas in the first race. Started towards the front of this one, and as I go around.
Yep, there's a lot more spray going on out there now. So visibility in a pack of cars is going to start to deteriorate pretty quickly soon. It'll be good to see some in-cars soon in a pack racing to see what that's looking like. We're on here with replay of Douglas.
Oh, and I've definitely got water spray coming off the back of my car.
Yeah, you did alright, mate. You didn't go right round and hit anything you
No.
shouldn't have hit. You've just ended up on that slippery grass.
Yeah, feathering it around 130R, sledging my way through the final chicane.
Oh, that spray is getting a lot worse. Yeah,
being
here we
very
go.
tender on the accelerator.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't gone in and fine-tuned my in-cars like Doug always does, so it's not the best view, but it certainly gives you a good look at what that spray looks like as Sean's...
Somebody was off to the side back there. Did you see that?
I didn't catch that, but I've got data on Michael Vanderhaas having a crash, so we can have a quick look at that.
Yeah,
Roger
that'd be the car.
Forbert's just dropped out with some packet loss as well.
Oh, that's big time!
Yep.
Wow.
That will be a tow back to pits for Michael Vanderhaas.
Absolutely, left rear wheel hanging off, not connected to any sort of drive shaft or differential or anything there.
So of course, fast repairs available for the guys, thankfully.
Yeah, two of those.
For the autumn series. Oh,
Sean getting very close to the back of Kristen Jenkins there.
that was almost another Mr. Plough moment.
The biggest thing that I've found trying to change up the mentality of is iRacing put out some good videos about wet weather driving and how to mentally approach it, but after going through 22 minutes of circulating this track and knowing where braking markers are and where your apexes are and what corners you're wanting to attack in a particular manner, you can't do that in the wet. You've got to run off the standard line. You've got to be moving around trying to find those water patches rather than the dry ones. Obviously, you're not wanting to find standing water, which is often towards apexes, and yeah, braking points certainly changing.
So on board with Kristen Jenkins here now, and their Team West Racing. So of course, Kristen's one of our guys. One of two, I think Dan's in here as well, so one of two that are using Simability hand controls. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, there's somewhere in the SuperCars NZ page.
That wasn't Blake sitting on the track.
Matthew Gerard, was it?
Matthew Gerard, I think, dropping back. Yeah, certainly one of the cars involved. Got data on Matthew Gerard having a crash, so we'll pick that up. Yeah, I think it was this car that I saw sitting there just grabbing that painted white line, and that is just how treacherous that stuff is in these conditions.
And the other car's doing very well to not have any contact. Well, one lucky one there.
Yeah, that
Maybe a slight touch.
What's going to be really interesting is if these GTP cars manage to catch up to the GT3 field and then try to make their way through.
Yeah, it could be dicey. So in comparison to the last race where the leaders were doing sort of 145s?
Yeah,
so we're getting
145 to 44s.
now.
Yep.
The fastest lap of the race currently is a 156 by Jacob Lucas in the GTP class, and as far as GT3 goes...
Oh, both of us just spun. That was humorous. about as good.
Yeah, they're all sort of
You know just as much as
over
me.
2 minutes anyway for GT3.
Oh man, we have got some serious rain
synchronised,
coming
that was
down
beautiful.
now. My God, I don't think I've seen this much rainfall on a windscreen in my life. This is getting towards very heavy rain. Oh, there's the second spin.
Oh. And I think
and
this,
was,
we're just
Oh.
riding on board with you, Doug, and I think this gives a good illustration to the challenges of these cars in these conditions as well as the small windscreen and just how small of an area that wiper actually clears for you to be able to see through. Although that wiper's stopped. Has the rain stopped? No, wiper coming back on.
well, the rain had stopped through that patch, and now I've gone back to having rain again. So the clouds are definitely moving, but it's still saying 100% likelihood of rain. So I don't think it's going to ease up at all. But we may find areas of the track, oh my God, heavier than others.
Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a wind
Yes.
shift soon, according to the weather predictions. So it's currently blowing from the west, and it's going to turn and blow from the east. Then it's going to blow from the southeast. So it's coming from everywhere.
And like there's pockets of sunshine coming through. It's all very much happening. And yeah, if you're an avid iRacer or at least a fan of iRacing, I'd highly suggest jumping on and having a look at some of the release videos that iRacing did around this, and also the interviews with the pro drivers from the GT3 fields. I'm sweating big time. They have said it feels as close to realistic as what they could possibly get without actually feeling that the cold of the rain coming through, which they feel the cabin temperatures obviously change and fogging up inside the windscreens. The way the car is behaving on the wet ground, pretty much identical to what they have in real life. So thank you to iRacing for your dedication over the last 3 years of building the Tempest system.
It looks pretty dry where you are now, so
Yeah,
that's going to be hard on those tyres, and then into the wet
it's
again.
certainly not dry. There's no rain coming down, but there's still a lot of water on the track.
And
So
this
just
is
a
the
couple
same
of
part of
comments.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a couple of comments from Scotty. Scotty Pickering come in on the YouTube there. He says hello. I'm not sure what it was, but getting some credit in the bank with Mr. Plough. So something about Sean there, and a great battle. So yeah, so good to have you along watching on your big projector screen there, Scott.
Yeah,
And
g'day
certainly,
Scotty. You should be here racing, mate.
Looking like the portion of the track where you're not getting any drops coming down on that windscreen seems to be getting bigger. So I wonder if we might have a little bit of dry lines forming in some parts of the track while others continue to get wet, although still no rain coming down where we had rain here a lap ago. So
Yeah. Well, can confirm when Corey and I ran a test session here and the rain moved away completely, certainly was moving the car around trying to find water to try and keep the tyre temperatures cool, and wasn't going as hard as Shane Van Gisbergen at Sydney Motorsport Park, where he went finding water down the straightaway on the grass. But yeah, certainly keeping an eye out for where that water is and moving across the track to find it, to try and keep these tyres in check.
It looks like there's a pretty tight battle going on at the front of the GT3 class.
yeah, so Thomas McCall not within a second of, or just over a second now behind Stephen McCartan, but look at all that spray, and while Doug's out by himself able to cruise around with the wiper off now, Thomas McCall certainly, just from the spray coming off the car in front of him, having to use that wiper, and still
Not now.
Have we,
It
have
looks-
we got
it
rain
looks to
coming down
be-
again, have we?
Got rain coming down again. It's there we go. Wipers back on now.
Because it looks to be about 6 cars in that sort of area there, so they'll all be affected by all the spray. But like you were saying before, there could be a bit of a dry line forming for the boys soon, just due to it's raining at one part and not at the other. It's credit to iRacing for getting that like that. That's pretty cool.
I think the awesome thing as well that I found was elevation played into it too. So once the rain had stopped falling, water would move from the high points on the track down to the low. So you'd come into an area of track, which, oh, got that wrong, come into a portion of the track where you're trying to get on the brakes or turn at the low point and you're hitting a big puddle of water and just hydroplaning straight off. So you've got to be aware of those elevation changes on track too.
Well, Jared Ecclestone there in a little bit of trouble in the Simblacks Porsche.
Yeah, I just spotted that, and I was going to say I don't even need to say anything to give out the commentator's curse. I was just thinking about when Doug had finished his thought, I was going to mention how Jared had managed to get to the front of the GT3 class, and he's had this little incident that's dropped him back again. So we caught the end of it as some of those trailing cars came through. But have a look here at the hairpin. He's just come in there.
That's just a Porsche thing, I think, isn't it? It just likes to just throw you around at a corner every now and then just to keep you honest.
Yeah, maybe just carrying a little bit too much speed for the wet conditions and that rear end pendulum, and a little bit of a misunderstanding on the rejoin as well. As I think it was Nico Cordia Ryan Cotterill having to take some evasive action there.
It's Ryan Cotterill getting a congratulations to him for getting a win in Division 2 in the V8s. So it looks like Dougie, that shifter, has gained him those tenths he was looking for.
Nice, there we go.
Getting himself a W.
Well, I'm happy about that. Yeah, if you hadn't not familiar with what that is about, feel free to jump back through the Broadcasting Lounge's videos and find the one where we did the virtual motorsport endurance race last year at Le Mans in the NASCARs. Prize was up for grabs. I won't spoil too much more what happened after that. So it's a good watch, and yeah, get involved and have a look at it.
But the short story is, Dougie, you're a generous bugger, and you gave something you won in a raffle back, and Ryan brought it, and he got a good deal because he got probably the cheapest brand new drink shifter you're going to get in New Zealand, and he's loving it, obviously, and that's thanks to generosity from guys like you, mate, and you should pat yourself on the back for that. And you're getting some good juice now, sitting in third place, so you might get yourself
I could have sold it off for a new GPU, because I'm down to 40 frames at the moment.
So Stonesy just dived to the pit lane as well. I thought he might have been serving a penalty, but he actually did stop on his box and do a tyre change there. So no CPS in this race, as you made very clear to the drivers, Doug, pre-race. So I'm not sure why he's coming in. Maybe he's felt like he's cooked those wet tyres. Maybe, surely not a gamble onto slick tyres. Much too wet for that at the moment.
We did see Stonesy turn around, but he didn't hit anything. He's currently on 0 incident points, so I can tell you, Mark Price has already served a black flag. He's been through the pits. We've got Steve Darren currently waiting to serve. Aidan Lamont on 14, Douglas Bickley on 12, Ryan Cotterill on 13.
All go at Spoon Curve as Randall Pui just recovering from a little incident, and a few cars all having their own little moments into there, having to take evasive action.
I didn't realise I was on 12. I might drive just a little bit more generously now. Man, he's very wet here again.
You got 7 and almost 8 seconds back to Hamish Cullen behind you.
It was 9, so he's closing that down as I lose the rear end and catch it again. I've got Aidan trying to be polite, but it's making it very tricky to get through. Cheers, Aidan. Whew. Shane, I'm certainly going to be streaming one of these nights, so you can come out and have a hoon in the GTP car, and
well, I'm going to be
run some wet weather as well.
I'm going to be behind the wheel of the BMW GTP car this weekend in the Sebring 12 hours, and looking at the forecast, there may be rain on the horizon for that, as Ryan Cotterill having a moment through the S's, finding the tyre barriers, but might have been able to get away without too much damage.
Yeah, it looked like he just did that all by himself. There was nobody else involved in that one. So yeah, like you say, lucky that Sam was there to slow him down.
That's right, and the sand actually does a very good job in iRacing now of slowing you down as well. So
Yeah, have you
Sure.
noticed too in the rain, when it's raining, trying to get out of the sand is a lot harder.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And getting beached on curbs is a lot more
Oh,
possible in the rain as well, I've found.
So we've got Ryan Cotterill now. He's up to 16, so he'll be getting. Oh, he'll be coming through for a drive-through, I'd say. We're getting that done before the end of the race. Thomas McCole going a wee bit wide.
just dropped a position there to Hamish Cleland as I lost the rear end and had to catch it, and then it dived across the grass, and I was just trying to avoid getting into the back of Jared Eccleston there. Didn't have quite enough pace on me drag racing down the... And there's the drive-through penalty.
The teammates having a bit of a
Dan
drag race there.
Turnhat absolutely got around the outside of 130R in wet conditions on Wayne Hartnell. That was unreal.
So just pulled off the mega 360, but yeah, picking up too many incident points now for myself.
Replay here of
15.
that pass. You can see Dan Turner on the outside, and well, actually, Wayne just gave that up a little bit, but yeah, certainly a very brave move from Dan. Well, maybe team orders. I don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah, a couple of Team West guys. It's good to see teammates. They're giving out each other room too. So you don't want to take out a teammate. That's the ultimate. No.
No, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've had such things as the poo car in the past. You hit a teammate. It's got a big guy hit a teammate on the side of the car. I believe Sean McNamara's had to wear that once.
Yes, I seem to remember him wearing that livery. Things seem to be just spreading out a little bit at the moment, although Kristen Jenkins not too far behind Stephen McCartan for the lead of GT3 Fast, but just running a little bit wide.
I've been impressed. He's been out of the seat for almost a whole season. He's jumped in and been quite impressive in the last two GT3 races. He did well in the elimination race last week too. He was quite high up the order.
Yeah, 100%. Very cool to see him be able to jump straight back in after that time out and be quick straight away. So good stuff. He's just dropped back outside of that 1 second behind Stephen McCartan. So maybe a couple of little errors in the rain. I just wonder as well if Stefan's just maybe not pushing as hard as he could, maybe just managing that gap and doing what he needs to do and being a little bit conservative in these conditions, not wanting to push things too far when he doesn't need to.
Sorry about that, Lee.
Yeah, he'd be well, you got to keep it as safe as you can in conditions like this. I guess you don't want to get caught up with anybody and cause any dramas.
That's right, Cullen Hodgkinson, just putting pressure on Thomas McCall now, looking for that final podium spot in GT3 class. GTP's not getting much coverage at the moment with some pretty big gaps in that. All the battles seem to be in GT3s, although, as I mentioned before, that has spread out a little bit, but still some guys are able to close in and put some pressure on guys in front of them.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, if it's almost as if, you know, people were crashing, you might throw a yellow, eh?
I think the ball would be firmly in Corey's court on that one.
I threw the ball in a ball pit, so you don't even know what ball it is now.
I'm looking for a yellow one. A yellow one. No, it's good. It's really good.
So so Taylor Mitchell's the next one to have gone above the 15, and is currently waiting. We've got Jason Begbie. He's on 15 as well, so he's waiting to go through for a drive-through. Douglas Bickley, you've already served one. Ryan Cotterill hasn't served his yet. Aidan Lamont, he's served his. So next closest is Mr. Plough himself on 12. Randall Randall, he's on 14, so one away. He's a newcomer to the league, so it's good to see a couple of new guys getting in here tonight. Names we're unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
They got here in the end, didn't they, Doug?
They sure did, yeah, thanks to Steve, Darren our weekly sponsor, stepping up and getting some info through to those guys on how to actually get through to accept the league request. It's been such a long time since having done one. I just assumed it was a pretty easy. G'day, how you going? There's a notification there to say get involved, but apparently it's quite an in-depth bit of clicking and scrolling and trying to find it.
Yeah, it's not just in your inbox now.
They've managed to recover a position back after Leith Swinney's gone off track too there. Don't know. I don't know if you've got some data on how he managed to boo-boo himself.
Maybe
Wayne Hartnell going
there.
Okay.
On board with Nico Cordia just making a move on Wayne Hartnell. Oh, Wayne Hartnell went around, did he? Sorry, I was.
Yeah, he hit the fence.
That's unfortunate. What I was going to mention as well is not only the level of spray coming down the back straight for Nico there, but also I noticed him just poking his nose out of that spray to try and get a read on where he is, and that's, I guess, something that's quite important in these conditions, to be able to know exactly where you are, just get out of that spray and actually get a visual gauge on everything.
Yeah, and sometimes with that spray, it's hard to even see the curves, because especially if you're close to a car, and as I see there, Nico getting close to the inside where there seems to be puddles building up, and that can't be good. Get a bit slippery as soon as you get anywhere near those curves.
Yeah,
so I see
be...
Kristen Jenkins has had a bit of a spin around from second position in the GT3 class and dropped down 3 positions. That puts Kellen Hodgkinson now up into second, Thomas McCall into third.
I'm now down to such a cautious level of driving after having so many wee whoopsies that it's starting to really play with the head on like how much to push and what's the risk and versus reward. But lead car from the GTP class only 1.7 seconds behind me, so obviously Jacob Lucas has been doing some good wet lap practicing.
And Jacob just negotiating Steve Darren now. A few replays to go back and look at. So we got that Wayne Hartnell moment first of all. So this is Wayne coming through 130R, just grabs that curb on the exit and just so slippery out there in such a high speed part of the track. He's actually quite lucky as the wing net codes itself off the car and then back on as the server catches up. Yeah, lucky to not hit.
Yeah, see you, Jacob. Go down through there, mate. Go.
So we got Ricey now has been disqualified, I think. Yes, he has. He's hit his 33 incident points, poor bugger.
So Kristen having a moment there as well, looping it. Brian Cotterill had a bit of a crash. What do we got here?
Is Mr. Plough still lapping?
Yes, he is. He's currently doing 100 kilometres an hour.
He was a big one who had said he was absolutely against rain coming out. He said he doesn't know why anyone would be wanting to have it available. I'd be keen if Corey, if you wouldn't mind dragging him up quickly, just get his opinion on it now.
Oh yeah, you can ask Sean McNamara anything you want.
Hey, Macca.
What did he get disqualified? What's
Macca.
Yeah.
Hey, Dougie, we brought you up into the lounge because obviously there's a lot of us having a really cool time with the wet weather element now.
Yeah.
As I go for my third spin of the night.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Have they done a good job putting it together? Is it?
Well, this is obviously my very, very first experience with the rain. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's the car felt really good with I had dry tyres on at the start. Obviously, forgot to swap because I'm a bit slow, and it felt alright for the first 4 laps. And it felt like you could tell there's something a little bit different going on. Mm-hmm. But the wets just, I think the combination between the dries and the wets is I just get out of a puddle. Yeah, it's great. The time model with it is feeling really realistic. It's quite cool. You guys in those hypercars are doing absolutely terrible in the wet, though, aren't you?
We're really well. I'm really struggling. I've seen Leith go off and have some issues. Jacob Lucas on the first couple of laps, he was off on the sand trap as well. So it's hard. It feels like these cars really so heavily rely on the aero to keep them grounded that feathering them around the track under wet conditions is not something they agree with.
No. And I did see some actually quite semi-talented people racing these cars in the wet, and they were looking like me. So I think the car is quite hard in the wet. Maybe the model with the car, your car, and the rain needs a little bit of tweaking, which may happen in future iRacing developments. You never know.
Well, they'll be tweaking stuff all the time. That's just what they do. You know, we've already had 3 patches.
Yeah.
And hey, you know, to all the haters out there, nothing's perfect. You know, you got to work at it.
Oh God.
So I just jumped down and I was talking to Pricey, and so he's our first guy to get disqualified. So he's busted over the 33 incident points. He's had 2 drive-throughs. But yeah, maybe the consensus is in the rain it could be a little bit higher, I guess. But everyone else seemed pretty happy with the way the race was going in the rain down there.
To be fair, the amount of water that's come down tonight was still probably a bit more than where we had what we had predicted was going to fall. So yeah,
meatball, mate.
But I've just come out of pit lane and lost.
Yeah,
it.
you and Leaf Swinney both rocking the meatballs at the moment. So we've got Jason Begbie still hasn't done his drive-through, so I think he's running around the back of the field there, so it's not going to... Well, you know, he'll drop down a little bit. He's currently in 15th, so he'll drop down the field if he doesn't serve his penalty.
The one thing that I can comment on is in the wet weather, the sand trap is very wet, and you don't get much traction to move forward, and I think I'm stuck in the tyres.
Oh no. Well, no, you're under the tyres. I think you've broken an axle there, to be honest.
Yeah, you've meatballed yourself again.
Unfortunately, toe might be your only option there, Doug. Looks like your right rear's not very well connected to the car.
It could be It could be a race over, I think.
I think I'm going to hang my helmet up. If you boys can put the chock on the door, I'll be up in a second.
Lock the door, quick. Did this to me once, tried to lock me out.
Yeah.
To be fair, he had a good reason.
That's right, you're still here. Bye.
Then someone decided to get the SWAT team out and knock on all our windows at the same time, eh?
Oh man, look at that spray. Yeah, that was a scary moment.
Yeah, I've showed that clip to a few people, and they've had a good laugh at that.
Oh, well, I can put my feet up now and I can enjoy watching everyone else struggle in the rain.
Yeah, you can enjoy trying to see some cars through some spray, because even on some of the TV cameras, it's getting pretty tricky to spot some cars now. Coming down that main straight there, it was just a whole lot of mist.
What does the Jigsaw chopper cam look like, or the Jigsaw blimp look like for the folks at home?
Hopping on the blimp, able to look down through most of that spray, and it doesn't actually look so bad, but that's actually probably quite realistic, because they do talk about during the Formula 1 broadcast a lot.
Oh, nice crossover.
Yeah, that's very cool. It is often talked about during Formula 1 broadcasts how much harder it is to see through the spray when you're down at that level compared to up above it and looking down through it. It's much easier to look down through it, much harder to look into it from that level. So
if you go from Dan to Nico there, and then maybe just switch to his bonnet cam, does that give a bit more of an appearance as to what kind of mist he's driving through?
So I can certainly jump with the nose cam.
Look at that water build it right up on that apex, and that is just very wet all across the track, puddles forming all over the place.
Yeah, look at that spray now. You can see when he moves off to the side, it's not too bad, but when he's right behind that other car, it is getting, and he's a decent way behind, just over a second behind at the moment as well. So when he gets much closer, that'll be even worse. But certainly even this far behind, it is just already limiting that visibility. So
We must be getting close to time session ending, but I'd be quite keen just to see a little bit of either a gyro or cockpit cam there while he's sitting behind these cars.
oh
Yep.
wow, that spray on the windscreen really highlights just how bad it is, doesn't it?
It does, and you can see as he gets a wee bit closer, there is a pretty realistic and effective rain light flashing away on the back of that car. The brake lights, you still can't really see them too good, but when you're that close to someone, you still can't really pick where that standing water's sitting. It's been a massive challenge, really fun, but big challenge, and credit to these guys who are still out there doing wicked laps.
So I've just clicked onto Jacob Lucas because I thought he might have just been taking the checkered flag, but he must have got across just before that time ran out.
Yeah, just a white flag now.
So we'll follow Jacob Lucas around for the final lap, and actually I think we'll keep it on that gyro cam because he's dealing with some GT3 traffic, and this is really going to highlight just how tricky it is. Already tricky enough navigating that traffic, now he's got to do it with limited visibility. And not just limited visibility in front for him, limited visibility for those GT3 guys behind as well. And we saw how much that car, Matthew Gerard it was, struggled to recognise that he was there and give him the space. And then he was able to find his way much more cleanly around Blake Greenhill. As he's got to make a big correction there.
I'm going to just pot around and get my last lap finished up so I can get my finishing points there, Shane.
That sounds like a brilliant idea. So Jacob just coming around Spoon Curve now. Very tricky corner in dry conditions, let alone in wet conditions. And another look there at that very small area that the wiper actually clears away for the drivers to see through in these GTP cars. It's not an easy car to try and see out of at the best of times, and then when you've got that little dry patch to look through as the wiper's doing its job, it's even harder. But Jacob's coming.
I think they've been down to Napa Auto Parts and they've got a nice fresh bottle of Rain-X because that rain is rolling off that window pretty nicely.
It sure is. It does move. Jacob comes across the line to take the win. Hamish Cleland is going to be the next car through.
Yeah, Juiced Racing.
Yeah, nice one, Hamish. Love a good juiced product. Free plug on that one. Check that one out online. Sugar-free energy drink powder.
I'll stick to Red Bull. Gives me wings, apparently.
Oh, Hamish having to make a big correction off the final corner there, but he manages to bring it to the line and take out P2. Taylor Mitchell currently sitting third, still a couple of corners to go. He's got a good, what is it? Oh, he's gone around.
Oh, he's lost his rear wing.
Yeah, was he already missing the rear wing? Because I don't think he hit anything there, did he?
Oh, stuck on the grass now. Poor Taylor.
So where's Steve Down? He's showing as a couple of minutes behind, so I think he's already gone a lap behind Taylor, unfortunately. So he's taken the checkered flag, so he's not going to be able to take advantage to pick up that podium position. But I don't think Taylor's going to be able to actually cross the line.
I think a tow to pit lane will warrant a finish because it'll put him ahead of the start-finish line.
Vehicle there, so Stephen McCartan coming into the final chicane now, and if he can get through here cleanly, I'm not going to jinx, I'm not going to say anything just yet, I don't want to put the commentator's curse on him. he's got to get to the line in these conditions before it's sure, and he crosses the line. He goes 2 for 2 in GT3 class for tonight. Perfect way to start the championship for Stefan. And Kristen Jenkins not far behind at all, really, coming home in second position. Nico Cordia able to pick up a podium in GT3 class for the second race, and Colin Hodgkinson across the line in fourth. Thomas McCall looks like he's going to be the last car to take the checkered flag, and he is going to bring it home in fifth place in the GT3 class, so a good result for him as well. Looks like we might still have Mark Price to take the checkered flag, although I can't see his name. He might have already towed back to the pits, so yeah, he's greyed out on my live timing, so I think he's already towed back to the pits without taking the checkered flag, unfortunately. Taylor managing to get a checkered flag next to his name, so he might have been able to limp to the line from there. Wow, what an interesting
Well,
night's
we've got a
racing.
couple of we've got our race winner from GTP, and we've got second place. So we're grabbing. Do we bring in? Do we start third? Work our way up, or are we going to go down?
Let's work
Race
our way
winner.
up, eh? Let's work
Race
our way
winner.
up.
Well, you both changed your
Have,
minds.
have, have I been outvoted? Have I? We'll go race
Yeah,
winner then.
race winner.
So we're going to bring in Jacob Lucas. So Jacob Lucas, yeah, for getting the first win in the GTP class. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a bit tight there. We ruined the tyres a bit at the end there, so it made it a bit hard. But it was a pretty good race overall.
Yeah, great battles out there, mate. You certainly got a lot of pace, using those flashes to the best of your ability. I'm just sorry that you're driving around such amateurs.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the times I got a bit impatient there, but it ended up not too bad in the end, so that's pretty good. Unlike the first
No.
race where I made a bit of a mistake, but it's alright.
Well done. You want to make a quick shout out to any sponsors who are looking after you, or any sim related companies that you want to take a shout out to for who's got you out here racing on iRacing?
Yeah, thank you to Dynamic Sim Sports and also all my personal sponsors, CNR Developments, Concept Motorsport, Hamilton Asphalts and Connects Wire. Yeah, thank you to them.
Nice stuff.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Cool. Thanks, mate. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Next on the list was Hamish Cleland. So bring him in. Hamish, how's it going, man? Are you getting second for the GTP class?
Yeah, no, thanks. It was fun race. My first race back in SuperCars NZ for probably about a year or so. Actually, I've been in and out of the league since it started, and no, it's good fun. Good to be back on the track.
Yeah, good one to welcome yourself back to, and obviously you've now got a bit of an idea of what the machine's like, and how we here at SuperCars NZ some of the races going forward might be laid out, and who your competition is as well. So you'll be out there getting practice in for next week. New track coming to iRacing, and for us, for the viewers at home, Portimao.
You're getting a bit ahead of yourself, Doug. Sebring's next week.
Is it?
It
yes.
is.
Yeah. First endurance.
Oh,
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry, Hamish. Sebring.
Oh, I was hoping it was next week because I haven't even started Portimao.
I was going to say, so Sebring, any chance you're taking part in the 12-hour this weekend?
Yes, yep. Us at Frogley, we've got a GTP entry, so
Cool.
it should be good fun.
You'll be out there racing against Shane White, who's out there in the GTP car as well. I don't know if you're going to be in the same division or not, but you'll be able to share some laughs and yarns afterwards.
I'll see how we go if we're in the same split. But yeah, it's always a good fun, the Enduros.
Awesome work, man. It's good to have you back racing with us, and yeah, we'll see you next week at Sebring.
I don't know if I'll be here next week, but I'll be there the week after for sure.
Cool. No worries. Cool. Thanks, mate.
Cool, thank you.
See, I knew his next race was going to be Portimao. What are you guys on about?
So third place in the GTP was Taylor Mitchell. So we'll bring Taylor in. There you go, Shane. You can start this one off.
Taylor picking up a podium there in GTP for the first round of this new series. How was that?
Oh, could have been better, but yeah, happy with P3.
tricky conditions we threw up for you there. Was that something you had to react to? It just started raining during the gridding process. Were you starting on wet tyres, or did you have to make a change there?
I started on wet. There was at the end of the race, the wets were just destroyed. So I was struggling there, and at the end I broke my wing off, so I had no downforce at all. And then put in the wall, which broke my suspension, and yeah, just try to bring it back.
Yeah, we'd actually just clicked onto you, trying to watch you make that run to the line, and saw you loop it around. And I thought you didn't hit anything, but I noticed your rear wing wasn't missing when you went around, so I figured you must have had that damage before. So, bit of an incident towards the end, obviously.
Yeah, just looped it, and it was a tiny, like my car phased into the wall. So when I drove out of it, it ripped the wing off. It was a tiny tap as well. Pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
Oh, unfortunate. So it looked a bit of a challenge to get to the line, but you obviously managed to get there and take that checkered flag.
Yep.
Well, at least I can say I've got the photo of the night there, Taylor, of both you and I having a wee turnaround at the hairpin together. There was just some of those puddles; they just came out of nowhere, and
Yeah.
it was like someone pulling the rug out from underneath you. Eh?
Yep.
It was good fun. So, thank you very much for coming along and joining us tonight. Yeah, P3, you've got a couple of another quick guys in front of you there, which I'm sure you'll have some awesome fun battles with moving forward through the series.
Yep.
Thanks, Taylor.
No worries. Thank you, guys.
So first place in the GT3 was Stefan McCartan. So we're pretty used to seeing that name up the front. So we'll bring him in and leave that to you again, Shane.
Stefan, 2 from 2. How was that one?
Wet.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was good fun, but yeah, next time I might run a wet setup instead of a dry setup with wet tyres. Might go a bit better.
Well, certainly your dry setup on wet tyres looked to be good enough to, well, obviously was good enough to take P1. You're 8 seconds clear of Kristen at the end there, so can't have been too bad.
Yeah, it was just a bit skatey into the last chicane, and we ended up spinning on the last lap through the I can't remember the corner number, but through the double right-handers, it just didn't really like the inside curb, and it just bounced and then sort of spins on the puddle on the exit. So yeah, I mean, yeah, good enough. Right off was mega quick in that sort of mid phase of the wetness, and he was all over me and probably actually had the pace to pass me, but it's so hard to see when you're up so close to someone. And then I think he said he had a puddle and around he went, so made it interesting. But no, it was good racing.
Yeah, a couple of those Team West boys managed to keep up with you there for a bit. And I think Thomas McCall was nipping at your heels at one stage there as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think it was right off Thomas and Callan were sort of having turns at having little mistakes, and they were all sort of battling for P2 to P5. I think Nico was in there as well, so that was good to see.
Have you got any sponsors you want to shout out? Any supporters? Any love to give?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously thanks to you boys for putting it on in SuperCars New Zealand. DSA, Palmerston Bakery, Shunt Scenery, and DSM Painting Contractors.
Awesome stuff. Well, yeah, very much. Cheers for that, Stefan. Yeah, hopefully not too much love lost out of there on the first race that you and Mac have got to go and sit down in the naughty corner to talk that one out about. But yeah, great racing once again tonight, and looking forward to seeing how the remainder of your season goes in the GT3s under the new MRP HPR Series.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks, Mac.
Cheers, Stefan. Well
there you go, Shano. It's been your night. Welcome back to broadcasting and commentating.
Yeah, cheers, Doug, and cheers for the pile of water you've dragged into the broadcasting lounge with you after calling it quits and coming up a little bit early to join us. So we might have to do a bit of work cleaning that up. So yeah, I guess we'll sign off here. So thanks to iRacing for providing the service for us to go racing on. Thanks MRP for sponsoring this brand new HPR series, continuing on the sponsorship of the GT3 series that they've done last season and season before.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And big thanks to Jigsaw Projects for coming on board as their newly rebranded entity and sponsoring the first round of the new series. So very cool stuff. Thanks, of course, to everybody at home for joining us, and thanks, Doug, and thanks, Corey, for sitting alongside me in the lounge here.
Hey, thanks Shane for putting on a good show, and thanks Doug for getting it wet because it gave us a little bit of entertainment. And
No problem.
thank you for.
Alright, so that's us.